And welcome, dear viewers, back to Meanings of Maverick. I'm your host, Maverick, where today we are going to be watching the finale of Dororo with episode 24. So, the journey of Hyakimaru and Dororo has finally come to an end, and, well, nobody really knows what's going to happen, right? Except for those of you who have already seen the former anime or read the manga before. I certainly haven't, so it's hard to get a read on how exactly the series is going to end, right? It's definitely not going to be just directly a happy ending. I feel like if that's the case, then it'll kind of destroy everything that the series has been building so far, with the moral dilemmas, with the sacrifices, the pain, the anger, etc., etc. Now, however, judging from last episode, I'm actually of the belief that both Hyakimaru and Dororo will come out of this relatively unscathed, right? So the question remains, who exactly is going to be the one that's going to be sacrificed? Is Tahamaru going to be killed? Is Nue, the mother, going to be killed? Will Daigo be killed? Or is it going to be at the sacrifice of the people of this nation or the nation itself, right? There has to be some kind of compromise somewhere. And also, I still have the sneaking suspicion that even though last episode Dororo was all like, we need to take matters into our own hands and whatnot, I think there's going to be some divine intervention as well. You know, you can only combat supernatural stuff with supernatural powers itself as well. So, looking forward to see how they end this episode. Oh, and by the way, if you guys do like the ending song for Dororo, especially for the second half of the season, I believe the full song has been released now for available for digital download. So if you guys like that, do feel free to check that out. Alrighty, so let's just get into the episode. And let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. One last mappa. Mappa. Should be mappa. Okay, back through the swamps again. Hmm. See? The goddess of mercy. Or is that just gonna be a simplification of something and not really having divine intervention? Well, let's just find out right after I skip the opening. Dororo and Hyakimaru. Hmm. You know, they were dead because of you know, Tahamaru. I like how they're also having a tour of the castle as well. She never looks at me. Dang. What are you gonna do, Dororo? No. So Nue is going to die. Dang, how did you get up here? Oh. Also, his mother. Hmm? What? What? No. Ew. Holy shit. So, an actual manifestation of the demon this time. Oh? What? Oh, okay. Those were the fake eyes. Wait. And this big baddie is just slain just like that? Oh, they got there in time. And he can see now. There's also Tahamaru, right? Oh. So they're just gonna die here? Yeah. す They had a chance to leave. Come on, get out of there first. But, oh, I can't. What? Hmm.
地獄道で最後の鬼神像が崩れ落ちたことを知る者もまたなかった。
So. Are they gonna form like a trading company, something? うん。うん。Did he go back? Yeah, he's going back. Oh. Daigo? Holy crap. Nah, he probably didn't kill him. I don't think so. Yeah, just by them saying this, it's pretty obvious he probably hasn't killed Daigo.
国を継いでいたら、わしが望んだ第五の繁栄を百鬼丸、鬼神が欲するほどのお前のその生きる力の中に。
Wait, what's... Oh, he's crying. Blood tears. Well, that is karma. You made your decision, own up to it.
兄貴、おいら待ってるからな。兄貴は絶対戻ってくる。そうだろ。
百鬼丸が旅立ち、ドロロが歩き続けるこの世は戦国へと向かっていた。
Oh, not quite the Warring States era yet.
彼らの行く手に広がるのは決して血だまりだけではないと。
So in the end, they... Whoa! That was Dororo? Okay. Dang! Well, and there we go, guys. And this is the ending song, which I said and was just released, so you guys can go check that out. I'm just gonna go check real quick if there's anything after the ending. If not, I'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty, so I assume a lot of you guys are also scratching your heads at that ending and what it's actually supposed to imply, as I was as well. So I actually did some research and took a look at you know, what it's actually supposed to be and compared to the original works and whatnot. So as it turns out, there's actually a lot of different endings for this work as a whole. Tezuka-san, the author of the original manga, he actually didn't completely finish the story in the way he liked, and so, you know, there's different variations on it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get to the ending part. Let's review this episode first, right? So, what I did like about it is that they did live up to their, to the previous episode's theme of taking matters into their own hands, right? So in the end, there wasn't really any divine intervention. It was just them, their actions themselves, that led to the ending that we see here. So that is indeed something to applaud them for. Now, what I couldn't... There are two things that kind of I couldn't quite get. One is how come Tahamaru just suddenly became so accepting of Hyakimaru, right? I mean, I get that it's probably supposed to be, you know, a very heartwarming thing when, you know, they're battling and then they're constantly talking to each other like, why are you doing this, yada yada yada, in the end because Hyakimaru spares him and whatnot. But it just felt a little bit too abrupt, considering that, you know, throughout this entire time he was completely consumed by hatred and whatnot. You know, I was half expecting him to do something like Daigo did at the end, you know, being defiant to him all the way to the very end, because of his hatred and whatnot. But I guess the anime decided to go easy on him and let him have at least a good way out, if you will. And beyond that one, the also second more puzzling thing is in regards to Jukai and Nue, and why didn't they just also get the heck out of there when they had the opportunity to, right? During that entire scene where they were talking to each other, you know, if you had time during that time to, you know, hug and then say, you know, even teach some philosophies and whatnot, you would have had time to grab Tahamaru, grab Hyakimaru, and just get the hell out of there. Right, but I guess what it's trying to portray here is that they actually have death wishes. They want to die in order to atone for their sins of, you know, in Jukai's case, he's killed a lot of people. Nue's case, she wants to atone for a sin of neglecting not standing up for Hyakkimaru, as well as neglecting Tahamaru. And Tahamaru, well, for what he did to Hyakkimaru, and also since his dear subordinates are dead, Mutsu and Hyogo, and so, he's like, I have nothing to live for as well. And so I guess in a sense you could say that they have death wishes, and so this was the best ending for them, maybe? I don't know, but personally I just felt like the logical thing to do would be to just get the heck out of there altogether, right? There's nothing that says they couldn't all go through that secret tunnel at the same time, right? There was plenty of time. So, it is what it is. I guess this is a good out for them, if you will, just a good finishing thing. Now, in regards to Dororo and what she was planning at the very end, taking in all these different refugees and farmers and whatnot, and trying to build their own territory, their own power, I dig it, right? She's not actually encouraging them to, train to be warriors or whatnot. She's not advocating a armed rebellion. Instead, she's trying to establish the safety and security of themselves through the power of money, right? And money does talk, right? At the same time, in the Western world, around the same period as they are in right now, which I assume is around the 1400s, I guess, the 15th century. In Europe, there was the Medici family, right, who rose to prominence during that time. They were first and foremost merchants, bankers, and whatnot, and they eventually became one of the largest political organizations within Europe within the span of 100 years. So it's not without precedent, and I agree. I tend to agree. If you make everybody rich, you make the lords, you make the ruling class rich, and then you can also take care of, your people as well. What's not to like about it? So I do enjoy her eventually trying to solve things through this kind of method. And I'm sure she's probably going to be a pretty good merchant as well. She does definitely seem to have the smarts, the street smarts for it. So, applause. Good on her. Good on her. Alright, and so the actual ending, right? Okay, first of all, I guess I should talk about Daigo a little bit, although there's really not much to talk about. As I said, you reap what you sow, you made your decision, you can't go back on it now, right? I've never really condemned him for making this decision. I definitely think it's morally wrong to do this, but, it is what it is, right? But in any case, you made your decision, you have to take responsibility for your actions. So, whatever. You got what you wanted, in a sense. Although I do applaud him for still trying to, insist that he was right till the very end. He's stubborn, if anything, and persistent. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the endings, right? So, first of all, I have to understand that Dororo itself, the manga, was a work that was incomplete in a way. So I believe it's the publication decided to stop it, as happens a lot of times within nowadays mangas as well. Because maybe it wasn't popular, it wasn't earning enough money, yada yada yada. But anyways, Tezuka-san never managed to finish the actual story that he had in mind, and that is why, despite this story being mostly about Hakimaru and not Dororo, it's titled Dororo, right? Because Tezuka never got around to actually completely fleshing out Dororo's story on her side. So the actual ending for the original manga and the actually overall tone is much more darker, I guess you could say, and definitely not as moral ambiguous as this anime is. It's very purely that we're supposed to sympathize with Hakimaru and Dororo. The rest of them are completely assholes with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Daigo is just a very a very bad, very I wouldn't say evil, but a greedy and tyrant, if you will. And so, there was no sympathy for that side. And the people as well, they basically, unlike within this anime series, where we kind of see the good side of people as well, apparently in the original work, it was, they were entirely hostile towards Hakimaru and Dororo. So we didn't have to have any sympathy at all for those other people. So anyways, in the original manga, actually, Hyakkimaru did directly kill Tahamaru, just like that. He had no qualms with killing him. And then at the very end, oh, actually, this is probably a spoiler, right? Sorry, guys. So anyways, spoiler finger. If this finger is held up, I'll be talking about spoilers. If you guys don't want to hear the spoilers, just skip until my finger is down. So, as I was saying, sorry about the brighter part. In the original manga, Hyakkimaru just directly killed Tahamaru, right? And there was no, sparing him or killing him will become a demon, nothing like that. He just directly killed him. And at the very end, his parents, both Daigo and Nue, were exiled from the land because the farmers actually did lead a sort of uprising, if you will. And so, them along with Dororo were they were working to build this new country, and meanwhile Hyakkimaru was off searching for his body because within the original manga, even after the events of this anime, Hyakkimaru did not regain all his body parts back yet. In the original manga, there were 48 demons, and 48 demons that he had to kill in order to get back his body. So 4 times the amount of demons in this one. So, I believe, if I'm getting this correctly, Hyakkimaru and Dororo said their goodbyes, they parted ways, and they never met each other again. Hyakkimaru eventually managed to get back his body after 50 years of wandering around and killing all the different demons. So that was the original ending for the original manga, as Tezuka wrote it. And then we go to the next version, which is the anime version, the original anime version. So the anime actually started broadcasting at the same time as Dororo was still in serialization. So because I believe it's because the manga was a bit too slow, so the anime decided to do an original ending of their own. Sort of like, I don't know, Full Metal Alchemist, how there's 2 different versions, sort of a similar situation to that. And so in the anime ending, it went even more darker than the manga. So not only did Hyakkimaru kill his brother Tahamaru, he also killed Daigo as well, and Daigo actually killed Nue, I believe in a bout of rage or something like that. So Daigo killed Nue, and then in the end Hyakkimaru Daigo actually escaped first, right? And then within the the big fire and whatnot, with the castle burning down, and again with the farmers' rebellion or uprising or whatnot, in the end, again Hyakkimaru and Dororo left on their respective paths. Dororo decided to stay, and then using his family's fortune, using using her parents' treasures, and then also staying here and trying to build this place into another big nation. Meanwhile, Hyakkimaru really left on a journey of vengeance where he eventually killed all the different demons, slayed all the different demons, with the last demon being Daigo himself. And so in the end, he just directly killed him as well in order to completely get his body parts back. And because of this, well, I shouldn't say because of this, but anyways, in the very end, again, Hyakkimaru and Dororo never met again. Hyakkimaru decided to leave on his own path and walk a path of solitude, and being alone, right? That was the path that he chose. So, in essence, you can say that this anime is sort of, this 2019 anime is sort of like the 3rd variation of an ending for this. Oh, I should probably put this finger down. Right. As I was saying, the 2019 anime is sort of like the final variation of these endings, right? If you can consider the original manga to be sort of like the neutral ending, and then you can consider the original anime ending to be sort of like the bad ending, right? With Hyakkimaru really becoming all on his lonesome and whatnot. This ending you can sort of view as a good ending, right? So even though, again, Hyakkimaru and Dororo left on their respective paths, Hyakkimaru is not on this, mission or path of vengeance that he is in the previous works. So by all means, he's probably just going to go around, see the world, learn how to be human again, learn from square one, and then in the end, as we can see from the very ending, it seems that they do eventually meet up again once Dororo has grown up as well. So in this kind of method, you could say that you, depending on what kind of variation of ending you want, you can choose to read or believe in each ending as canon, if you will. So there we go, and that is the comparison of the different endings of Dororo. So as a final conclusion, what do I feel about this anime as a whole? So even though from researching the original work, I can see that having this kind of moral conflicts wasn't actually in the intent of the original work. But for this adaptation and for this remake in general, I do quite like the topic of, you know, being more morally ambiguous, right? There's not exactly a correct path that you should go down to. There's not exactly a correct choice. It's hard decisions all the way through. I do appreciate an anime that portrays this kind of thing, even if it does become kind of you know, it does become kind of how should I say it? It doesn't quite give up the, you know, the good vibe of just slaying everything, right? It's forcing you to actually make some decisions. It's forcing you to make a conscious choice. But I do appreciate anime that has this kind of thing within them, even if this was not the original intent. I definitely like, well, I can't say I definitely like the art style, but it is pretty unique in its own aspect. The sort of watercolor and ink style normally used in paintings. It definitely gave it a unique look that makes it stand out from the different animes. And also the action, I gotta say, the action was one part that I felt was a little bit disappointing in a way, especially when you go back to the earlier episodes, like episode 1 through 4. At that time, I thought the action was very fluid and looked great throughout. I feel like in the latter half of the series, you know, the action got a little bit lazy, right? I'm not saying it's bad. It's not badly animated by any means. It's just it felt like they cut some corners, if you will. So yeah, I think overall for Dororo, I gotta be honest, I wouldn't say that this is my favorite anime of either the previous season or this one, but it does provide something unique and quite different from the other animes that we have so far. So if you do like something that's maybe a little bit different taste than what normal anime is, this might suit you very well. For me, you know, there's some aspects of it I like. For some parts, I felt like, you know, it's really just not, I don't know. I feel like the story itself isn't that compelling to me, if you will. I like the more choices and whatnot, but the actual handling of the events and so on, I'm more lukewarm towards. But I do agree that this is a good anime. It's just maybe this is more of a taste preferential thing, right? So yeah, that concludes my review of Dororo as a whole throughout 24 episodes. So let me know what you guys think. This is the big finale. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Which one of the endings do you prefer, if you will? I have a feeling that most people will probably prefer this ending, since it's the, you know, the quote-unquote good ending, right? With it's sort of the happy ending out of all of them, if you will. But do let me know. In fact, I don't know if any of you have ever read or even know of the original endings of the manga or the original anime. But let me know, which one do you guys prefer? How do you feel this series as a whole? And, well, feel free to check out my other works as well, for those of you who might only be here for Dororo. I do other animes coming in the following week. I'll probably do a preview for the next season as well, to see what works I'm going to do. So if there's anything you guys would enjoy, feel free to stick around. If not, well, hey, that's okay, right? We all have our taste and likes. So hopefully I will see you guys later. If not, well, I wish you guys the best. So this is Maverick signing off. Bye bye.